Hey Vigilante, what's up? Welcome guys. I'm just messing around for the night. Long day in the garage, so using up what I got left. Has the music in the background. Just got some royal free music. I figure I'd test it around some tonight too. The Picardo ones go to your spam? So I don't think YouTube does YouTube send out emails? I thought it just goes to the ring the bell thing. It's probably Picardo or something. Yeah, some of the, now that I think of it, some of my Picardo stuff goes to spam as well. But then again, I have a habit of checking spam all the time as well as regular email. Because you just know in my luck something will go in there I need to know about. Welcome, Adrian. Hopefully I said that right. Just goofing off with some hair sculpting. Since I casted up a bunch of these, I wanted to try one that has hair coming around the ear. Just for the hell of it. Hey Terrell, how you doing? Trying to mimic Roberto's hairstyle, which is absolutely amazing. See how far I can get, how close I can get to it. Yeah, actually, I got the email from them today. Let me get the name of the site. Hold on, let me look at that. I was actually gonna. And if you guys are, if you're into Aves and you buy Aves, they got a Black Friday sale with I think 15% off too on their site going on. Let me see if I can find that website. That right there, they're having a Thanksgiving sale. I'm not sure though if they're going to actually have a Black Friday sale. That's one site so far. Personally, I would actually wait till Black Friday hits that day and then really do your searching. Because that's one site. It looks like the site that used to be Chicago Airbrush, sorta. They seem to have a lot of good parts in sale, parts there. But you got other places like Dixie. There's Dick Blicks. There's Dixie or Dick's airbrush thing, something. That's one of them. I'm gonna wait till Black Friday that day, and then I think I'll see if they have a good sale, because I need to get some parts myself. Hey Frizz. I'll also link in the description if you guys, where is it? Here we go. That's the code for Aves Studio. So if you guys are looking to pick up any Aves epoxy sculpt, safety solvent, they got a little bit of a discount going on for that. Yeah, if you go into the Aves site, if you go into their outlet section, you know, the purchase outlet section, that's where they have the red Aves. It's like 25 bucks, I think, for like the 4-pound kit. I actually just picked up another kit today, plus some of their safety solvent. I was running really low, so good timing. Yeah, if you have Aves too long, it will go bad. But if you want to make it last longer, leave it in the refrigerator. It'll be hard as a rock though when you pull it out, but at least it'll stay fresher. I go through so much all the time, so. In front of the ear? I don't know, I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm just kind of swooping it behind it. I got a couple pictures on my wall, and then a lot of reference arts I look on the screen sometimes. I just keep playing with it until I get it to where I like it. Worst case scenario, just do it again. This Aves is still fairly fresh, so it's a little bit easier to work with. Welcome, Michael. Yeah, I just figured I'd goof off some tonight. With Thanksgiving in a couple days, I'm just kind of taking it a little bit easy this week. Hey Kobe, yeah, go to my website and use my contact page. I try and reply on Sundays when I can. I'm still trying to finish a lot of stuff up for this year, which is spilling into next year. But I'm trying to see what I can actually take on for next year. Welcome, Thor. I'm gonna make a mess out of this face, but oh well. Uh, you might have gone through and I just haven't replied yet. Or I just, or maybe didn't go through. I am sitting on a couple emails I haven't responded to yet. I've been really busy, plus with the holidays around the corner, I've been trying to get stuff ready for family gatherings. Unless it was a long time ago, then maybe it didn't go through. I don't know how it's pronounced. All I know is I love this stuff. I'm bad at pronouncing stuff because it's probably that Jersey in me, so. You can send it again. It doesn't hurt to send it again. My goal this week is just to relax, have some family gatherings, and then on the weekend maybe just kind of catch up on a couple personal things and emails. I gotta finish some graphic work for a friend, so I'll see what I can get caught up on this week. I don't think Jesse does that. Um, if they do, you'd have to contact him on his Facebook page. Maybe there. But I don't think he does. But I could be wrong. Maybe in the past years he did. But yeah, it's getting there. I think it still needs a little bit more volume on it, but sometimes I'll do a base sculpt, let it cure up for a night, and then the next day kind of build onto it again. But we'll see how this goes. You can hand paint, there's nothing wrong with it, but unless you kind of create a system for hand painting where you do like washes and washes and washes, you're going to see brush strokes. But you can definitely hand paint, there's nothing wrong with it. But like I tell people all the time, if you're going to get an airbrush, get a trial kit off eBay. You can get them for like $70, $80 with one of those cheap compressors. Sort of get used to it. And then if you feel you want to get further into the hobby, then just start spending money on better kits and better airbrushes and a better compressor and all that. There's no sense dropping, you know, crazy amounts of money on something you feel you might not want to do. But a trial kit can really help you out. Or you could go to one of the Jersey Fest shows or Wonderfest shows and take one of the airbrush classes, and you get an airbrush and like a compressor all in the deal, and you get introduced to it a little bit more. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so Jesse is doing a sale. Yeah, this is the time to stock up on a lot of stuff. I've been watching a lot of sites and just waiting and waiting, so now I can actually pick up a couple things here and there. Cool grays and warm grays? I mean, if you really want to practice painting and stuff, what we did in art school is we had to actually make up a whole paint set on our own. They would just give us a white tube and a black tube, and you would have to make up the 10% black, the 20%, 30%, and you have to do all that tubes yourself for the year. So it actually helps you kind of get used to mixing colors if you want to go that route. And if you want to add a little bit of cool or warm, you could put like a drop of blue in it to do it cool, and a little bit of a warm, you could put like, I guess what, a tiny bit of brown or red. I'm just saying it might help you out if you want to really get into mixing colors and stuff. Yeah, if you can get used to the color wheel and get used to mixing your stuff, it'll help in the long run. Yeah, I actually watch a streamer who does all those Copic inks on Picardo. Stuff's pretty damn cool. He also airbrushes with them too. What's up, Tim? So all you guys home? You at work? Vacation days? What's going on? Ah, I see. If you guys want to see model vaults here, Marcus, you should link your studio setup in the description. He really built a really nice studio. You guys should check it out. Yeah, if you guys are ever looking for ideas and stuff on building a studio or just other stuff, you did a really great job with it. My studio is kind of more like the poor man's studio. I figure I'm gonna destroy most of it anyway, so I'd build hand-me-downs. But Model Vault does a really good job. Did it go through? I didn't see it. Unless I have a setting where people can't link stuff, I don't know. Let me see. There. Maybe I got some settings I gotta kind of fix on the thing whenever I get a chance. I got a friend now who, after he saw what I did with my studio and then he saw model vaults, now he wants to redo his setup. That's a good thing about the hobby. Everybody bounces ideas off of each other and we can get some really good stuff going. Yeah, I sent the link to Model Vault of a website that I mean a YouTube channel that built a booth, and it gave me a really great idea. So that's my project next year. I want to really build a nice, good booth setup because basic booths that you buy and other ones that are online just don't fit my needs anymore. Yeah, honestly, after doing all my research, if you buy a pre-built airbrush booth from like Artograph and all that, you can pretty much just build your own with better ventilation and better setup if you just build your own and buy all the parts. Because the only reason why I got that Autograph one or whatever it is because at the time I needed something better. Because when I was starting this out back in an apartment with my brother, literally I didn't have anything. So I was just spraying in the house and, well, in the apartment, and everything was red dust. So I got the Autograph just so when I bought this house I had something right away. But now that I'm doing this more often, I got to get something better. Actually, what I'll do is I'll link in the description the channel that I found. Uh, they are, it's a really good booth and they got a lot of stuff. Let's see if I could find it. Where is it? Well, tell me. I think I lost it for some reason. Well, I think if you just go on YouTube and you look up how to build your own booth or airbrush booth, you can find some really good stuff. But I think when I'm ready to build mine next year, I'll do a video series on it. If you guys don't realize, I'm using the edge to kind of like dig into the hair while the paintbrush sort of smooths it. That's kind of why I like the paintbrushes the best. And the only problem with Aves is sometimes it sags on you. So you got to keep playing with it until it starts to harden. Yeah, Super Sculpty is nice. It's a really great item to work with. I just don't, because you could always keep kind of going back to it till you bake it. Yeah, it's brittle as all hell. That's why I don't like it. It's not good for customizing because over time it just goes to hell. Not saying that you can't use it. You can still definitely use it. Just that. Yeah, as far as baking goes, some guys will tell you that getting to the point where it burns is where you're supposed to go. Other people says no. There's people who actually boil it. Either way, I'm not into using Sculpty really much. I've tried wax too, and I hate that, so. You know, when I first tried Sculpty, I was working on a sword, and I went to the Jersey Fest where Dave had it at his house, and Mark Van Tine was there, and I was asking him questions, and he said what I did was fine, but to me it felt like the item was gonna break apart any second. Yeah, I don't. I've seen Monster Clay. I know a couple guys that use it. I just I think some of these guys who practice with this stuff can do stuff, amazing stuff. Cos Clay? Never heard of it. Maybe I have. I'm not sure. Actually, I guess the downside is once you use all that stuff, you still need to make a resin copy of it. So, I mean, you don't have to, but I'll have to look into it. Monster Clay to make temp bases? That's not a bad idea. I just use wood blocks. I got so much wood in the garage from housework that I figured why let it go to waste. slowly getting there. Does cosplay have to be like baked or anything, or? Hey there, Travis. Welcome. Ah, okay. It's actually good to know. I might have to look into that. Only because sometimes things I work on, you need to make like a mold and cast of it anyway. So something to keep an eye on. I try and find a lot of stuff where I don't have to go through the hassle of baking and molding and casting, only because with customs, that adds a huge price to it. So stuff like Aves and Magic Sculpt and Freeform Air is what I try to stick to mostly. But if there's ever anything else out there I can use for other, stuff, I'll definitely look into it. starting to harden up a little bit more, which makes it a little bit easier. Now let's start breaking it up a little bit more. You guys got any projects you're working on? At least maybe with the vacation weekend? Yeah, Aves does that. It'll keep sagging until it starts to stiffen. But this is actually a mixture of the red with the Fix-It sculpt, only because I had a little bit of the Fix-It and a bunch of this red left, so I mixed it together. And I figured I'd just kind of sculpt with it. I find that it's actually easier to see lately now, mixing a little bit of the red with the Fix-It, just so I can see what's going on. The Gambit PF to the Age of Apocalypse Gambit, wow, that's a hell of a task, because I know the outfits are really different. Earthworm Jim and Vegeta, cool. If you ever post that stuff, let me know. What Batman and Wonder Woman? Yeah, yellow is a nightmare. I absolutely hate that color. It is such a pain to deal with. Man, more power to you. I love Age of Apocalypse. Those look pretty cool when done. Yeah, hands are a pain. As much as I practice on them, I still mess them up. But I'm trying to get better at them. Certain projects, I try to tackle them on a little bit more here and there. Oh, that's you, Lewis. Oh, okay. Yeah, I cannot wait for DXA's Snake Ray. I know I keep saying it, but man, I'm just dying to get that damn thing. I want all Age of Apocalypse stuff, but I don't have the room or space for everything. That's my problem. To be honest, PSI, a lot of people will say that your PSI should be 10 or 15. I keep my PSI around 30, 35. Only except when I have to do something really, really fine detailed, I'll use my one airbrush and I'll put it down to 10 or 15. But I don't really spray heavy, but I just get used to not pushing the trigger down so hard and pulling it back too far because I have all dual action airbrushes. So I just gotten after all the years to be able to just push it down just enough that I need that certain airflow. That's one thing you got to get used to. It's like muscle memory. The more you practice, the more you do it, the more you get to the point where you don't even think about it. You just know that pushing it down that far is going to get you the flow you need. But like all paints, some of them may clog, some of them may dry at the tip. you know, it's just kind of like the nature of airbrushing, so it gets frustrating at times. But then again, like everybody in the hobby, what works for me may not work for you. So don't be afraid to test the PSIs, see what you like, what you don't like. Could be the airbrush too. I don't know which one you're using. Chris, I mean, if you got a cheap airbrush, yeah, you might have problems. But if you have Iowa to Badger or any of those other ones, it's possible paints are just getting clogged in them. I don't know. Yeah, it's if you have Iwata, then shouldn't be a problem. I've had one of those Steinbeck ones. I didn't like it. I got rid of it. But it could be the paints. Like, what's your main issue with them? Yeah, you guys don't have to get a silent air compressor. You can go and get a air compressor with a huge tank from Home Depot and put on the correct adapters. If you don't mind the loud noise. I know some people have one in their garage where they fill up like it's like a 50-gallon tank or something. And they just fill it up and then they airbrush with it during the day. And then it fills up again. You're getting speckling. It's got to be your airbrush is not clean. I would think if you're getting speckling. Because even at unless it's a super low PSI and the paints are thick. Like if your paint's semi-thick like Vallejo's and they're sort of dried out a little bit and you go do a low PSI, you get speckling. But if you're at like 20, 25 PSI and you're spraying and you're getting speckling, then your needle could be bent, they could be clogged, there could be a paint in there. Yeah, I would try to make sure your airbrush is super clean, I would think. think most of the time, anytime I've ever had speckling issues was more like a dried out paint. Like, always experiment. If you're using a certain paint and you're getting a speckling, try a different paint. Try a thinner paint. If you're still getting speckling, then it could be the airbrush itself. I used to get a lot of speckling when I used badgers. I've always had a problem with the badgers I used. And then when I switched to Iowa, I got rid of all that. There he is. There's a Tim. I thought you were on earlier. I guess I was mistaken. You should be working on that Nightcrawler. That's what you should be doing. Yeah, I'll keep giving you those. Gotta try to match Roberto's sculpt as best as I can. Trying to get this behind the ear in a way so it's not kind of hovering over it too much. And bring this hair around it. Yeah, you could use too much safety solvent. Like if you have something that's kind of hanging over, like the bangs, you could run into that issue. But I know that this is starting to toughen up really hard now, so I gotta kind of soften these up. I think when you freshly mix Aves, that's when you can actually run into that issue, unless you need it to be super soft for some reason. No, if you hit it with the hair dryer after you mix too much, you probably just end up getting it tougher anyway, and probably won't be really all that workable, I would say. If you screw up, you're better off just mixing some more. But once it starts to harden, you just gotta give it time. I've been at this for what? Maybe an hour now? Hour and a half? And it's really starting to toughen up a little bit. Yeah, you just gotta keep Aves in mind that once you mix it, you got that 3 hour window, 2 hour window to really work with it. And then once that window's gone, it just starts getting to the point where it's really tough. You can sort of bring it back to life with the safety solvent, but it starts to get really tacky then. Uh, I use it for a bin. I mean, I don't know. If you have extra A's like this, I usually just roll it up in a ball and throw it in my bin for like filler. I made a bunch of, like, today was super warm, so I had to make like 3 or 4 generic bases for a couple items I'm working on. So I used a bunch of my old A's to fill that in. I'm not into monster stuff. I really don't care for Universal monsters or, like, you know, Frankenstein or any of that stuff. It's never really my thing. If I had to pick one, I really don't know, to tell you the truth. Although if I had to paint one up, or I could paint one up, I like Jesse's line that he's got with the little kids that are running away from the Universal monsters. Those kits are fun. They look like a great setup. Out of all the monsters I've painted up, I think the only ones I've ever painted up was, I did Gabe Perner's zombie bust, head bust. I did Eric Sosa's monster turtle thing. I painted up a Frankenstein bust back in early days when I went to Wonderfest. So as far as monster stuff, I haven't done a lot at all. I was going to be doing that Medusa life-size head from Blackheart Models for someone, but that project sort of got axed. The person decided not to go ahead with it, so Jerry, I really don't, if it's an idea I really like, I'll tell the person to, you know, hold out, but I pretty much take on stuff that I think I can pull off and that are going to be fun, but I don't, like, you know, push people aside to take on, like, an item I want to do more, or if it's more money or anything like that. I just kind of take on the project, I work on it when I can, and go from there. Like anything that I really want to work on is usually just personal stuff. That's why I do everything: repairs, commissions, repaints, and then I save all the personal stuff for like what I really want to do to clear my head. But I try to get as much done as I can for people, but I'm only, I can only do so much in a day. And I don't want to rush anything either. But I do know, if anyone who does know me, I do not do Iron Man. I dislike Iron Man. I never liked them. Growing up reading comic books, I never understood why a guy who was wealthy and a drunk could make armor. I know that might offend some of you guys, but it's just personal preference to me. So I don't think it's fair to take on like an Iron Man project for someone where I don't really want to do it, and I'm not going to give 100% on it for them. So that's just one thing I don't do. And it's not that, Iron Man in the movies or anything like that. It's just growing up and reading comic books. Just never cared for the character. Yeah, no, that's fine, Jerry. I just take on what I can, and I just tell people to wait. My main thing is I tell people, if it's a grail and you can wait, just keep in contact with me. And if I could do it, I get to it. I never get tired of any of the characters, really. I just love doing this so much that I don't really care about the characters or doing the same thing over and over. I ask people if they want to try different things. Basically, I just don't want to go back to a desk job where I used to be. That's pretty much it. But then again, when I had a desk job, this is all I thought about all day long, was sculpting and painting going home. So no, I never did a Baroness. When Sideshow did that one Baroness with the cloth, which nobody really enjoyed, that cloth. It was kind of not very popular. I was supposed to do 3 of them for people, but everybody just decided just not to do it, and never really worked on a Baroness. That's the thing, though, is a lot of people will contact me, and I tell them, well, when contact me at this date and we'll see about a spot, and then I never hear from them again either, so I just keep moving on to the next projects. Yeah, Jerry, I do this for full time now. I was a graphic designer. Basically moved down South Jersey. bought a house, and my ex-boss closed the company 6 months later. So I started just taking on a lot more commissions and a lot more commissions, and then before I knew it, I had so much work to do, I didn't even really see the need to find a job, you know, at a graphic design company or anything. And I said, screw it, you only live once, right? I'd rather, if I make it to 65, I'd rather go back and look, say, at least I tried it while I could. But it's just, you know, I wake up every day and I work nonstop. I just love it. It's not a steady paycheck, but the way things are going these days, everyone I know is losing pensions, they're not getting bonuses anymore. So, yeah, what the hell, you only live once in life. Yeah, I love it. I mean, you know, going to schools and stuff, they never told you that you can, you know, do stuff like this for a living. It was always get a desk job and stuff, but I'll be honest, when I was working full time as a graphic designer, I would come home, kick off my shoes, hop at my desk, and sculpt and paint. Get home at like 5:36, paint and sculpt till like 11 o'clock, get up the next day, go back to work and do the same thing every day. And then Saturdays was go to my parents' house, use the garage, chop statues up. You know, I would just, this is just non-stop work for me. That's all I ever did. And I have to say the other thing too is when I did lose my job, I was trying to find another graphic designer's job, but that market completely died out. So I took it as a sign. I mean, it died out completely. I couldn't find graphic design jobs anywhere. Even some of my friends that were graphic designers, their companies were laying off people nonstop. It was just, yeah, basically now you don't need a web designer anymore really, because you could buy templates online and do everything through WordPress. Graphic design companies went out because people can, you know, go to certain websites and have a business card or ad made up for them with ease. So it just all died. My favorite kit I ever worked on. I don't know. It's a tough one. Been so many of them. I think the best kit, quality kit, character, paint, not really ease of the build, but I think the beast on the desk. Yeah, I think that beast on the desk was probably my favorite. I mean, I think it's the best beast out there, period. Not because I worked on it, not because the one I did, just the sculpt alone without it being painted is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting there, Vigilante. It's not completely there yet. Like I said, I'm trying to match Roberto's sculpt, but he's a little bit tough to match. Still going to the point where it's gonna get like underneath here. I'll put some strands tomorrow or something. I can't really do that now. I'll screw it all up, but we're getting there. Yeah, Beast Kit was probably the best one just because of the sculpt, the design and everything. The Talia Kit was a lot of fun, but that one was a little bit more tricky with the chair and the computer stuff. Yeah, I think the Beast Kit was a lot of fun only because, like, literally almost out of the box was ready to paint. There was really not much to work on it. I mean, there was a lot of paint work and a lot of masking and all that stuff, but it really was just so well done. Like, if I was a Beast fan, that would be the kit to get. I've seen a couple other ones that people have done recently. Not really a fan of them too much. I think it's the bushy on the desk. That one's the grail. Well, 3D sculpting is the future. I mean, you know, you can just sit there and kind of hit a... Basically, it's not really hitting buttons. It's more like corrections. You know, if something's wrong or something, you can get in and tweak it easier. But... use the BSI glue. I tell this to people all the time. If you could find this BSI gel on eBay or in hobby stores, this stuff is amazing. I don't really use the regular liquid stuff as much anymore. I just bought this like back in the day and I'm just using it as I go. But this BSI gel glue is the best to use, period. It doesn't cloud, it dries fast. If you use the Insta Set, it dries in a second and it doesn't bleed. This gel is the stuff to get if you can find it. Yeah, I understand that you love the Jim Lee portraits and stuff, but I mean, I think for what they did with it, it was really good. Oh, I glue my fingers all the time. I slice my fingers. Trust me. A lot of stuff you don't see in the videos. Like you can see my thumb there. I smashed that with a bunch of wood building this setup back here. So I've glued my fingers plenty of times, and my shirt, and statue pieces. There's a couple of times I've done stuff for people and I told them I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. And they don't realize I really did put a lot of blood into it. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get much Rob Liefeld style unless you kind of hire a sculptor to do it yourself. I guess that's just kind of the fan base out there. But I think some people are kind of following it, but not really like to a T to the artwork. No, I'm not perfect at hair. I still got a lot of ways to go. I'm always trying new things, and I always say I could get better. And it's just a matter of practice, just trying it, trying new things, studying other sculptors. Also, if you really want to get into hair sculpting, look at regular just artists that draw for like comic books or even on DeviantArt. A lot of 3D sculptors and stuff, and just see how they sculpt hair and just kind of think of it the same way. Because as I'm working on this, it's like drawing but sculpting at the same time, I guess you could say. I don't know if that makes any sense. I could put baby powder on this, but it's like drying already to the point where I can just like leave it off and I don't need to worry about it. This, like, I've casted up a few of these already, so if this is messed up I can always just grab another one and slap it on. But for now I'm just kind of... I mean, you can see all the messiness of the red eaves and everything. That's the downside about what I do. But if you want to, you can kind of get in there with a paper towel. Kind of take some of it out. Yeah, I used to have a few arguments with the guys at the comic book store when I used to go every Wednesday, back after art school, about Liefeld. It was funny, before art school, I never really looked at any of this stuff, and then after art school I came back, and that's when I started realizing that, proportions, body muscles, and structures, and I started seeing all those things. But that was the 90s though. Jerry, for the chrome, I do a lot of my stuff in Alclad. I've done a couple videos on it, I think. It's a little bit tricky because you gotta have like a perfect candy coat, smooth surface from like gloss paint, and then the chrome comes out good. And then you could candy coat it, but you have to use the Alclad chrome, not the chrome, Alclad aqua gloss to get a really good seal. But most chromes, you know, they're gonna dull down once you gloss them up anyway. So I don't really have any of that like super crazy chrome process stuff that like some people have. So I'm limited on that. Take it easy, Vigilante. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, that Rogue was something I really wanted to really push. See how far I could go with it. For a lot of the customs I do tell people we can do stuff like this and that, but it does get costly. That's the problem. But I just want to try new things here and there, especially with Smooth On. They have a lot of products, and just it's a matter of getting my hands on them and testing them out. I'm doing good. How you doing? I don't know how to say your first name. I'll just say Santos. I'm bad with names, so just sitting here doing a little sculpting for tonight. Trying to match up this side of the hair as just a test piece. I figure when I do this Power Girl, I could have a couple heads just for myself. Different hairstyles. Leaves is getting really hard now. It's what are we? We're getting on to that 2 hour mark, 2.5 hour mark. Uh, I like if you're just going with DC, it's kind of hard. I like Kid Flash from Kingdom Come, but I also like Power Girl, so they're kind of like a tie because they're both like alternate reality, different type of characters. But then if you go into Marvel, I like my Captain Marvel female, Viola Vale. If you go into video games, it's Rose from Street Fighter, so I just love this statue of Power Girl, so this is why I figured I'd just make a couple extra heads and stuff like that. I still need to make another Sage from Extreme X-Men series. I did one a long time ago, but I sold her off. So that's another one on my list I gotta make for my own collection. Because all the characters I like, they're never gonna produce them, so. Jerry, I did a bunch of the head bases for a while there. I did the Joker head base, the Harley Quinn head base, Catwoman, Power Girl. The only problem with those is sculpting it, molding it, casting it, prepping it, painting it was so much work that a lot of people were like, it's too much money for them. So I was like, well, for me to put all this amount of work in there, it had to be like worth it. So I just stopped doing those. As far as custom heads, not really. I think at the point now with these heads being sculpted with 3D sculpting, it's crazy. Yeah, if you go on my channel, Jerry, I did a couple extra head bases. Just so you can have the extra head. Like here, I'll show you. I'll have one over here. Yeah, Santos, I saw the Gil reveal. I'm actually shocked they put him in the game. So this is the Power Girl head base I made a while back. So you can actually put the head, next to it. But all those head base molds and stuff I did, I destroyed them because I made so many of them, and the molds went bad. So I've done a couple custom one-of-a-kind head bases too. Like I did a Miss Marvel for somebody a while back, and they wanted a head base for the extra head. It's just that they're just a lot of work, and I don't think people understood all the work I put in. And I also did a Deadpool one. That's right, I did a Deadpool one too. I actually had people say in emails that I was crazy, it's too much money, blah blah blah, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm only a one-man operation, so. I started making customs when I think it was like around 2006, 2005, maybe earlier. I was on Statue Forum, and that's when Bowen Designs made the Captain Marvel bust of Janice Vale. I walked in a comic book store and I saw the bust on the counter, and I was like, where the hell did this come from? And the guy the owner introduced me to Bowen Design statues. I was like, holy crap. And that's when I picked up that bust. So I went home, and then that's when I got into statues, and I found Statue Forum. And then I was on Statue Forum, and I saw somebody take the bust and they repainted it to the blue and white version. I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. And then the person on the forum said, well, just buy one and repaint it. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And then after that, I just started snowballing effect from there. Just started buying more, customizing, repainting, and just that was the end of it. Yeah, Jerry, it does get, a little bit frustrating at times, but at this point I just move on from it. I don't pay attention anymore. I've had very nasty replies for, repairs and repaints and stuff like that, but I just move on to the people who really want it done and just go from there. No sense of fighting, just ignore it and move on. Yeah, Terrell, I love the Power Girl statue from Sideshow because Mark Newman sculpted it. He's my favorite sculptor, and it's one of my favorite characters, so it's like they sculpted it for me. Actually, we can actually put this head onto one of the. I am doing another Power Girl for myself because I had to sell mine out because I had some unexpected funds and I needed to get a statues and all this stuff, so I sold off one of them, but I am working on another one for myself so we can kind of see what this head looks like on it for now. So that's getting there. Kind of a cool look to her. Once I get a couple more of these heads prepped up, I can actually start doing up this statue and get it back in my shelf. No, Santos, I never get tired. We were talking about this earlier. I love it. It's all I do all day long. Just work on statues. Non-stop. I mean, I get physically tired during the day, but other than that, I don't get tired from doing any of this stuff. Like when I go see family on Thanksgiving Day, I'll feel like I wasted a day not working on a statue. Yeah, Terrell, it's the nature of the hobby. It comes with everything, actually. You're always gonna get people that are gonna be like that. That's why you just gotta side with people that enjoy it. Yeah, Terrell, you're always gonna get that off of eBay. You're gonna get that no matter what. Actually, that's that's just the way people are. I'm not sure what you mean by a University of Art, Santos. I mean, Uh, yeah, as far as customizing, there was really no one that actually did it, I guess. I mean, there was people on forums who would, like statue forum, who would repaint or maybe add on things, but I guess I took it to a different level. Um, because back when I was really getting into it, I started finding like damaged stuff on eBay, and I was just like, yeah, I could repair that, or I could bring it back to life, or change it up. And then I discovered Aves, and then this product and that product, and I just started putting them all together, and sort of became like, I guess you could say, like almost like a junkyard of statues, and then just started, you know, redoing them and bringing them back to life. So there was a couple people doing stuff here and there, but nobody really, I guess, went as far as I did. I don't know. I mean, I just soaked up as much information from the hobby from people, and I just started utilizing it in different ways. But I think it's when I found out about Aves, that's when it really took off. So if you figure it this way, if somebody can take an old Honda or an old car and bring it back to life or customize it, you could do it with a statue. People do it with toys. You just can't be afraid to get dirty. Oh, that's hard as a rock now. Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, what I do is customizing. You take a statue and you customize it. You know, you break it, you re-sculpt it, you make a different character. That's kind of like the true definition of customizing. Um, I think a lot of people get caught up in the word customizing from people who make, you know, original sculpts. But I guess the original term in the hobby was kit bash. You'd buy a kit and you bash it up and make something different. But then when I got into it, I just started calling customs. Yeah, I try to get out a video once a week, but it's hard. I try to get a lot of stuff done for clients and people, so I do what I can. But I figured since I live stream now, I can actually kind of mix it in between things. I know my production value isn't quite as good as a lot of other YouTubers out there, but little by little. I need to get up another video this week. I just gotta film it. It's the last Savage Land Rogue statue. Just gotta get that filmed and edit the video. One day I'll get the better editing software too, I guess. Now that I got the computers for it. Most obscure character. I guess it depends on how you look at it. I've done the Sentry statue. To me, Sentry is not really a good character. I never really liked his story. But then again, I also did the Gladiator, which was from the, what was it, the Starjammer? Not this, yeah, Starjammers, I think. The guy with the mohawk. So I would say those are kind of the most obscure ones I actually painted and put together. But there's a lot of other ones too, though. I did Titana. I did Thundra. There was Orisa from the Green Lantern Corps. Yeah, so I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. I enjoy those because those are characters you probably never will see, so. Yeah, I don't know about this Copa thing. A lot of people are saying it won't affect me, but other people says it's going to affect people who do anything that's like Spider-Man, Superman type stuff. I honestly don't know. It just seems like it's a power grab from Disney. They sick the dogs of war on YouTube to get their, you know, I think that's what everyone's saying. So who knows at this point. I mean, if it's going to affect me, then it's going to affect a lot. Yeah, I still got a couple more of those busts I'm working on for that guy. He has a lot of obscure characters that he wants done, and I just haven't gotten to the next two he wants me to do up. This summer really kind of got backlogged with those the clear resin storm, with a lot of, like, you know, research, and then those Spider-Mans I just recently did. The Iron Spider-Mans kind of backlogged me. Lesson learned. Do a little bit more research on kits before you take them on. Yeah, Jerry, I don't know about the Copa thing. Like I said, it's. I mean, in the end, if you shouldn't, you know, only you can't be 13 to sign up on YouTube anyway. So I don't know why this is all happening, but it always comes down to money and power. So. Yeah, I love X-Men. I grew up on X-Men. I love the Age of Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix Saga. Age of Apocalypse is my favorite. Dark Phoenix Saga was great. I liked Extreme X-Men there for a while. So, I mean, just pretty much all the old school X-Men stuff. Hey Raphael, thanks for coming out. Glad you enjoyed it. Uh, yeah, that whole Iron Spider-Man kit, I wish, after I started working on it and I told a couple people, they were like, "You're crazy for working on it." And I was like, "What?" And it was too late. But, whatever. Can't win them all. No, I saw the Dark Phoenix actually maybe about a month ago. I don't rush to go out and see movies anymore. I just watch it all online because I don't feel like dropping that crate like $18 to travel, see a movie and all that. But I didn't like any of the X-Men movies really. I guess I just want to be more true to the comics, just like the Marvel movies. Yeah, they had outfits that were as close to the comics as close as possible, so they felt more like superheroes. The X-Men were just in leather outfits, so it really didn't, it kind of was lost on me. It's a movie, it's fantasy. You're supposed to just, it doesn't have to be realistic. Not everything. Just go there, have fun, and I know it's fake and it's a movie. No, I haven't read any of the new stuff, but people have been telling me that they're really, really good, so I might look into it down the line. I sort of gave up on comic books after House of M. I don't know if it was you guys liked that storyline, but House of M really killed comic books for me, and I just kind of stopped. Because that's when I kind of switched over to DC a lot more with the new 50, well, not the new 52, the 52 and Infinite Crisis, and that sort of kind of kept me going there for a while. I mean, I was big into comics back in the day. I used to go every Wednesday, go to my pull box, get all my stuff. Yeah, I did all that, but comics after a while just kind of fell out for me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up on the X-Men stuff when I get a chance. Everyone's saying it's really great, so I have a habit of going back and rereading all my old stuff. And like I said in the past, a lot of the characters I loved when I was reading comic books, they all got killed off. Yeah, I think the last stuff that I remembered reading was Annihilation. That I enjoyed. Trying to think. Some of the other ones, it's been a while. Yeah, Santos, my friend told me about that whole Cyclops Gene Logan thing, which is kind of odd. But I guess that's the way writers are these days. I don't know. Well, I think we're gonna get what, like 10 years now of X-Men and Fantastic Four. Is that like the plan from Marvel and Disney? Which personally I don't care. As long as, you know, we get some really good actors and some good outfits and just have fun with the stuff, I'm down for it. Yeah, I used to read. I didn't was in big into Excalibur, but I did read a lot of the stuff when Rachel Summers was there, because I liked Rachel Summers too a lot. Like I said, all characters that come from different timelines or alternate realities, always that never fit into the main universe, were always my favorites. So Rachel was kind of cool. Yeah, I like I said, I now that Marvel got the rights back to Fantastic Four and X-Men, I think that's what they're doing. At least that's what I've been reading. Um, just 10 years of all that stuff now. Now that, like, you know, the Avengers and stuff are kind of done. But oops, that's not good. Good thing it hardened up. That's the downside of A's. You can drop it and squish your stuff, but this is hard as a rock now. Just kind of smoothing it out. That'll be easy to paint too. Yes, I absolutely love that Avengers Forever storyline. That is one of my favorite books ever, with Kang and Janice Vale, Captain America, Wasp. I must have read that 1,000 times already. I love that storyline so much. I even went out and I hunted down good copies of it and got some CGCs of it at like 9.8. Just one of my favorite storylines. If you guys have never read it, check it out. Avengers Forever. Awesome storyline. It's like time. It pulls these different characters from different timelines and puts them together as a team. Awesome. Yeah, basically Netflix now, like, basically we've gone into the era where everybody has their own streaming service. So if you want all these streaming services, you got to pay for them. Whereas, you know, cable brought everything together. So cable's kind of going on its way out. I mean, I haven't had cable since 2009. I just have the internet. There's no reason to have cable anymore. Yeah, Tyrell, I wanted to, back in the day when Bowen was top, I wanted to create the whole Avengers Forever lineup of the statues. I wanted to have the trade paperback way in back of all those characters, and I was on my way to do it, and then that's when around the time I lost my job and I sold off all my collection, and I just decided never to do it, you know, go with it again. But Yeah, that would be a really great like setup, just that Avengers Forever stuff. Never read The King with Moon Knight. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I do like manga and anime. I absolutely love Naruto. I have been reading the manga since it first came out. I absolutely love it. Naruto is probably one of my favorite. I I've been reading and watching the Baruto stuff, but kind of still like the Naruto stuff more. I want to go and read the whatchamacallit, the what's oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the name. She just came out with the movie. The girl that's part robot, cyber. I forget the name of the girl. The movie that just came out. My friend said the old manga was really good, so I want to go back and read that. I did try a little bit of One Punch Man, but I never finished it. I'll probably go back into it when it's really been out for a while. Yeah, Alita Battle Angel, that's it. You got it. Yeah, I absolutely love Alita. When I saw the movie, I absolutely loved the movie. It was I loved it. I thought it was great. Now I just want to go and read the manga when I get a chance. Because back when she came out, it was in comic book stores, but there really wasn't a lot of manga stuff to choose from, and I wasn't really introduced to it a lot. But now that I see the movie, I really want to go and check it out. Yeah, I never read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I know a little bit about it. I've read maybe one or two on it, but I never got into it. If I had more time, I was gonna go back and start getting into like all the old mangas of different stories and stuff. But the problem is I just don't have the time, and whenever I start something, I want to make sure I can finish it. Yeah, I played every Capcom game just about. I did used to play Darkstalkers, but I was definitely more of a Street Fighter person. I lived in the arcades with Street Fighter. I used to be late to work in college all the time because I was in the arcade. My boss used to have to come down and grab me and says, "Get your ass up there and start cleaning dishes." I skipped Street Fighter 5 because it just was dumbed down to me. But when Street Fighter 4 hit the scene, every day, non-stop Street Fighter 4. Loved it. Yeah, I'm down for more Capcom fighting games. I mean, if they made Darkstalkers, I'd play it. But when I tried Street Fighter 5 at the convention, I think it was the New York Comic Con, it just felt so dumbed down. I was just like, I can't play this. So I skipped it. Now, I don't know if you're playing it. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I just didn't like it. Yeah, Street Fighter V's got some new cool characters. I like some of the models. I just... Models and characters really just don't... If the gameplay is not there, I kind of don't want to deal with it. I just like Street Fighter 4 because there was a lot... Yet it was one of those games where you had to put a lot of effort into it. You just can't pick it up and be a pro. But I'm the type that even though if I lose, I'll just keep going until I learn how to play and win. Yeah, I actually went to Evo in, what was it, 2013? 2012? I think it was the year I lost my job, so I was like, you know what, I saved up all this money, I'm going anyway, so I went to Evo, Street Fighter 4, I played, I played with Rose before she was actually really good. And I actually made it out of my first bracket, made it into the second bracket. Got pretty far in that until I fought a guy with a guile and he completely wrecked me. But at least I can say I did it. But that was a fun experience going to Evo. I went there with two friends. One guy that I always played with online, I met him at there and we roomed in a hotel with another guy I already knew. So we put my one friend brought a PS3 in his luggage, and I brought a monitor that I used to have here on my desk. And we actually played in a hotel room face to face for the first time in like ever. We had a great time, man. But it was really cool actually getting in the hype, you know. I got to meet Ono real quick. I got a picture taken with Ono. Just meeting some of the pros that were there at the time. It was pretty cool. Of course, it was in Vegas, and didn't really care for Vegas too much, though. Yeah, I actually would love to get back into Street Fighter 4 because I made custom arcade sticks and everything too. That's why I'm kind of hoping if they ever make Street Fighter 6 and they brings it back to like a Street Fighter 4 type game, I'll definitely get back into it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a tall guy. I'm just your typical Italian from Jersey, so I'm, what, 5'6"? But Ono came up to like my nose, and he's a small little dude. But if you ever get a chance, if you want to go check out Evo, that was a lot of fun. Especially if you could go with a couple people to get into a room and you could just play Street Fighter all weekend. Because we really didn't go there for like seeing Vegas and doing all the Vegas stuff. It was more just a Evo trip. At the time, I liked what was his name? I think it was Flo because Flo was playing Rose, and there was another Rose player too at the time. I think he was French. I think so. I forgot his name. I used to watch him all the time because the way he played Rose was absolutely amazing. But whenever he wasn't playing, my second favorite was the guy that played Ibuki. I forgot his name too. He was a beast with Ibuki. The combos and setups he would do was just insane. That might have been him. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Evo is Evolution. It's basically a tournament. It's like all the fighting games. You have your Street Fighter, your Mortal Kombat, your Smash Brothers, and it's a weekend thing. It's your brackets. It's insane. It's really great. Like if you go to it, it's just crazy amounts of people. Oh, they did. Did they change that? You make your own costume now? That's kind of cool. Because when Street Fighter 4 was there, you didn't do that. Yeah, I remember Bochan with Sagat too as well. But I mean, the early in the days where it was you had your Justin Wong. Uh, God, it's been a while. I keep forgetting all the names. But if you guys do know Street Fighter, I'm pretty sure your favorite Street Fighter player was DSP. You can't forget about him now. He made fourth place in Evo. But yeah, I pretty much know all the Street Fighter. You know, your typical the gamers, the guys, that whole generation. It was a lot of fun. Basically, since all the arcades closed down, Street Fighter 4 and online brought it all back to me. You know. Tokido, that's it. Tokido. Yep. Wasn't he? Didn't he play Ibuki? Or was it one of the twins? I forget. Yeah, but since Street Fighter V hit, I really don't hear about the same old guys that used to be around as much anymore. But then again, I don't pay attention. Yeah, I remember Long Island Joe too. I mean, I was on the SRK forums all the time, reading up tactics, how to build my arcade stick, frames, all kinds of stuff, man. That was a lot of fun back then. And even when I started doing this full time, sculpting and stuff, at lunchtime I would go eat lunch and me and my friend would get a couple matches of Street Fighter 4 in, and then I'd get back to work. No, I never worked on Morgan or Dimitri. I did a lot of Street Fighter statues though. I built, my friend made the Ryu with the holding the bag statue in the Pop Culture Shocks scale. I've repainted a couple camis, customized them. I customized a couple Kens. So I've done a couple. I even made my own Rose Street Fighter statue off of the Morgan from Pop Culture Shock. So yeah, I've done a bunch of Street Fighter stuff, but nothing of Darkstalkers really. Diego, that's it. Yup, Diego. He was the... I'll never forget, like, when I got introduced with Diego, when I saw that match with Street Fighter 3 versus him and, I think it was Justin Wong. And he did that crazy parrying with, I think it was Chun-Li. So yeah, that's kind of like my first introduction to Diego. Poison was from, actually from Final Fight. I don't know if you remember the Final Fight game where it was that side-scrolling game. It was produced by Capcom. So basically, that's where she originated from. But there's a whole history with Poison and Roxy about that. So if you really want a good read up on the whole history from Poison and the reason why. Yeah, just read up on it. It's kind of a funny history. Yeah, I wish Pop Culture Shock would finish up the line, but I guess since Jerry sold it and the new guys, they're kind of changing up the direction. So I guess we're never going to see Dan or Rose be made. So once again, my two favorite characters are never going to get made. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the Prototype Z stuff. Actually, Eric Sosa went to Jersey Fest this year, so I got to talk to him personally about some of that stuff a little bit more too. But yeah, his that stuff is looking pretty good. I wanted to get the Akuma, but it just wasn't in the budget plan. I want a Dan and I want a Rose. Like they stepped out of Street Fighter 4. Yeah, Poison's she's pretty cool character. I like it. You know, that's why I actually got the pop culture shock statue of her in my display case. I just love the statue. Character's pretty cool too. Roxy was great too. It's basically the same thing, but she got turned into Bowsette, so at least I still have Poison. Yeah, if you could get that Kuma from Prototype Z, more power to you, dude. That's an amazing statue. Kuma was my favorite because he was the hidden character in Street Fighter 2. Well, I forget what version, like one of the turbos or something. But then when Rose came in Alpha 2, that's when I really liked Rose. Yeah, Eric Sosa's the guy who does a lot of sculpts. Yeah, he runs Prototype Z. He did a lot of sculpting for Bowen Designs and other statues out there. So Eric Sosa's a popular sculptor. I think that's kind of a cool little change of head. Not bad. Gotta clean up the back a little bit. Later, Marcus. Thanks for coming out, man. Yeah, Poison and Roxy are basically, they're just like if you played Final Fight, there was a character, a female character, it was Poison. But then when you get to the next stage, it was the same model but a different color, and they called her Roxy. So basically, it's pretty much just like a palette swap. That's pretty much all it really was. And throughout time and all the storylines and all that, it just became that there was Poison and then there's Roxy. They're not twins, but they kind of look like each other. So, but Poison's kind of the main character. Be right back. I just gotta wash these brushes so I don't destroy them. Let's put the camera down a little bit. Alright, so I think that's it for this. I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to do a little sculpting in there. Maybe bring a little bit over there a little bit more. I think we're pretty much set. I'll probably throw some baby powder on this just to be on the safe side. But I think that's where I'm going to call it for tonight. I've been at this for a while. I think it's time to clean up and just relax. So let me know what you guys think. Not bad, right? I think it works. I got a couple more to do. We'll see how they come out. But thanks for coming out, guys. I enjoyed the talk. I had a lot of fun. Till next time when I come up with something else, I'll just start up another stream. So if I don't start a stream between now and Thanksgiving, have a good one, guys. Don't eat too much. And hopefully maybe during the weekend I can start up another one. So have a good one.